push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. It is March 9th, 2022. DJ Oakley with you, Quinn Pushkar alongside you as well. And we kick things off, as we always do, with On This Day in Sports History. On this day, Quinn, you ready for this one?
Sure.
You seem excited for it. So
I'm just waiting for another baseball thing.
No, it's not baseball. I promise you it's not baseball. In fact, I lost it already. You know what? I lied. It is baseball. In 1995, on this day in sports history, in 1995, baseball awards a franchise to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. From there, they drafted East Palestine High School's very own Aaron Walker. I don't remember what year that was. 2000. I want to say it was 2004, 2005. And that was the last, I think, drafted player or professionally, semi-pro even, other than JT Miller, who now plays in the NHL from East Palestine. So the most interesting part of this, Q, was the Devil Rays franchise, since they have been, or now they're the Tampa Bay Rays, since they've been around in 1995, has had more success than my Pittsburgh Pirates.
I think I've had more baseball success than the Pirates have.
This is true, which begs the question: should the Pirates just start over? Should we just sell the franchise and start all over? It's been a crazy week for the NFL. I mean, you see all these moves that are going around. What's the one before we start the show with and start talking about Camel and Mooney, which is by far the spotlight of the night? What has surprised you so far in the NFL? Is it Aaron Rodgers with a $200 million deal and staying in Green Bay? Is it Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
You like that one?
Yeah, it's Russell Wilson. I mean, the amount that they gave up to get him is astronomical for, what is he, 33, 34-year-old quarterback? But I guess with Brady, Rodgers, stuff like that.
I mean, if you really think about it, they didn't give away too much because they got so much back in the Von Miller trade.
True. That's true.
So like they've got a nice receiving core. And from the looks of it, Russell Wilson isn't necessarily dead in the water. I think he's really in his prime. I mean, he threw 40 touchdowns and 13 picks 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Consistently around 34, 35 touchdowns a year. I think it's going to be interesting. I think the AFC's loaded. I think that it's a big year for Cleveland when you think about it. And Baker, it's a really show me what you got here. And then Pittsburgh, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? I mean, you got Mason Rudolph on the roster right now. Haskins is on the roster. We heard rumors that Aaron Rodgers might be the guy that comes in, and now it's Mitchell Trubisky and Jameis Winston. I don't think there's any plug-and-play quarterback for Pittsburgh. I could be eating my words months from now, but I really don't think they're going to probably have to get it done in the draft, and there's not too much out there in the draft to bring in at this point. So I don't like what they're doing. I'm just going to put it out there.
I do.
I'm sure you do. They go get Bobby Wagner, which I also think that was a money dump for a salary dump for Seattle. If they go get Bobby Wagner, I think then, okay, I feel really good about our defense. And now you just get a game manager. But today was the big one. In case you've been at work, like most of you are. Carson Wentz is now a Washington Commander. Do you like that?
No.
For a pair of third rounders is what it sounds like?
No. I mean, I'm a big Carson Wentz guy. I got to watch him at North Dakota State, so
Yeah, I know.
I'm a big Carson Wentz guy. And
Go Bison.
yeah, oh yeah. But now the Colts, I don't know what the Colts are going to do. This is the fifth year in a row with a new quarterback. I think something like that.
Ever since they got rid of Luck.
Fifth. Yeah. So
they've been flailing.
bring back Luck. Why not?
Bring back Rivers.
No.
Please bring back Phillip Rivers.
He can stick to coaching whatever high school he's coaching.
Coaching his kids.
Yeah.
He's
got a whole
45
football
of them.
team, so.
All right, man. We got to flip the switch quickly, and that was a terrible segue. I will say that was
bad.
awful. But I will say this is a game that tonight in the, what do they call it? The field house?
The Canton Memorial Fieldhouse?
Canton Memorial Fieldhouse. I thought they were one and the same. You educated me yesterday, and
Big difference.
I was not a fan.
Big difference.
They probably heard me over in Columbiana with the expletives that I was shouting. It's Mooney, it's Memorial, and it's for the right to go to the regional finals. Okay, so let's break it down. Just off the top, Quinn, what's at face value, what does this game bring to you as a basketball fan?
A lot of fast-paced, high-flying Camel Red Devil basketball.
You're not concerned with Mooney's
Nope.
defense at all.
Nope.
I feel like we're talking about Springfield and Mooney again.
Nope. I don't know when Mooney last played a team of this kind of speed, I guess. I got to look at their schedule. But, Camel's fast. They can score. Moore is a stud. Leonard's good. I think Camel's just too much for him, to be honest with you.
You said that about Springfield.
I argued against Springfield too, though. I was able to make some arguments against them. I can't make an argument against.
Okay, so let me ask you this. And again,
I mean, I guess Liberty was kind of fast paced too. Liberty couldn't shoot the ball like Camel can, though.
What about Cheney?
When they played Cheney, they played them early, though, didn't they?
Mooney played Cheney and beat him.
I don't think they did they?
Mooney? Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, so they played twice. Mooney got him by 12 early, and then Cheney beat him by 20-something the next game.
I mean, if
22.
If we're looking at Cheney and they are the gold standard, which it's hard to argue, and Mooney got him,
Yeah.
I think they got a shot. I think there's a lot of people being very dismissive of Cardinal Mooney here today. I know Campbell's not one of them. Coach Canarino is not dismissing Cardinal Mooney at all. But I think that there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, okay, Mooney's going to peter out at some point. And Coach Palermo's got those boys playing at a high clip. And if you look at this, Quinn, from my perspective, the experience that Mooney brings to the table
It's true.
tells a little bit of a story.
That's
right?
true.
You look at back in the Sweet 16 yet again. You look at it, they've won the district each of the last 2 years. And you look at the other side, Camel, relatively inexperienced in the postseason when it looks to it. I mean, making their first appearance in 13 years?
Something
At
like
least
that,
at least over a dozen.
It's
Or over 10.
I believe so, yeah.
I think it's 13. I think that's what I read. Does experience play any factor when you get this deep in the playoffs?
Absolutely. It helps. It helps a ton. I mean, and Coach Palermo has a ton of experience as well, being in this situation. So yeah, I'm not going to deny that. It doesn't. It definitely helps. But at the same point, Campbell's averaging 72 a game. Mooney's averaging 50. You got to find a way to score because Campbell's going to score.
Kevin Moore has put 20 on the board in 12 of their games this year.
Yep.
So nearly half of them that they've played. And then you've got Leonard, right? That's put
Yes.
a dozen, I think, something along those lines in the statistic category.
So,
So they've got a 1 and a 2, right?
Kevin Moore's averaging 19 and a half. Xavier Leonard is at 14 and a half.
Okay. So it's not a just easy enough take away Kevin Moore and you're skating away to victory for Mooney tonight. The last time these two teams met was 2020. Mooney won 66-30 Obviously, two different teams in the arena here tonight. But Mooney is the same defense that they've always been. They're going to lock you up. They're going to press you. They're going to do what they can. They're going to try to slow you down. But they play it so aggressively at high pace that's what, to me, when I watch them on film, that's what makes the turnover game so interesting. We know that Camel can fall into a turnover trap. And if Mooney, and we've said this before on the show, if Mooney is shooting the lights out, they are a very hard team to beat. So from your standpoint, what are some of the keys to victory for Camel tonight? What are the do's and don'ts? And then flip the script and tell me what Mooney has to do and what they can't do.
I mean, it's a lot easier for me to start with Mooney because it just comes to slowing him down. You got to slow him down, control the tempo. All that's basically
slow down Mooney or slow down Camel.
Slow down Camel.
Okay,
you have to slow down Camel. You have to slow them down. You have to play very solid defense. You have to basically dig in for 32 minutes on the defensive side, slow them down, control the tempo. It's going to all start with Hergenrother, I think, with if he can kind of control how fast the game goes, then I think Mooney has a good chance. And I mean, I saw it at Springfield. You got to just stay in the game as long as you can, weather the storm, because Camel's going to make their runs and stuff like that. Just stay in it, and you're in a good spot.
So they say this time of year defense wins championships.
I hate that saying.
Why don't you like that?
Because offense wins. Good offense will always be good defense. Always.
But a bad offense.
Well, yeah. But
and
at this point, you don't have bad offense. Though.
No,
that's the problem.
But I would argue, and I'm not a basketball guy, so you can tell me if I'm way off base on this. It is way easier to play defense this time of year than it is to fill up the bucket. You can have an off night on defense and still win ball games.
Yeah.
You can't have an off night this time of year in basketball games and win.
Right. Which kind of speaks to offense has to be good.
Sure. So, but you look at statistics. Okay. So offensively, Camel is averaging 72.5 a game. Mooney's averaging 50. Defensively, Mooney's giving up 42 and Camel's giving up 49. So Mooney is comfortable there, right? If they can shut down Camel's offense, do you think the Red Devils can rely on defense to win this game, or is it just straight offense wins for Camel and defense wins for Mooney?
I think it's the second one. I really do. But, I mean, like, it's tough because I'm looking at Camel's schedule right now, and they haven't scored under 50, except for the one time they lost this year.
But they haven't played, I would argue, they haven't played a team like Mooney defensively. Do you think?
I think they have.
Who?
I think they've played.
Who would you compare
like
Mooney's
them.
defense to?
I mean, LeBray has a way of being able to play similar to what Mooney does. I think.
Nick says Mooney has to score at least 60 or absolutely lock down D to even have a chance.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
I would agree with that. I mean, Camel played Cheney. Camel's played Liberty twice. Garfield is physical, like Mooney is physical. I'm looking at it. LeBray twice.
Camel lost to Louisville.
Yeah.
So what did Louisville do? And I don't know if you watched the game or not. What did Louisville? Because that was at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. What did Louisville do to get that win?
So I didn't watch that, but from what I can think of looking, I'm kind of looking at stats right now from that game. You know, Kevin Moore was 1 of 10 from 3.
Well, that helps.
Camel shot what looks to be low 30s from the field, 22% from 3. I mean, I don't know what Louisville did. Obviously, they beat one of the top teams in our area. So I give credit completely to Louisville on that one. But from the stats, I mean, it looks like Camel didn't shoot well.
Well, here's the other thing. We've talked about this before on the show. Those games to me shouldn't really count when you go to the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
So, yeah, it's an entirely different world up there to play because you figure in high school, you're 10 feet from a wall, usually behind a hoop. There you are wide open.
You're in an arena.
So it's very difficult to shoot in one of those venues.
Floor is different.
I mean, you can pull out the old Hoosiers mentality of measure it and it's all the same and all that stuff. It is. but you're in a wide open space
with nobody. I mean,
with
there's
absolutely nothing there.
There could be 200 people there, and it feels like there's 5.
Yeah. So it's an entirely different place to play and stuff like that. But I mean, at the same point, Louisville beat them. They beat them by 4. I got to give credit for Louisville for that. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I'm looking at box scores and stuff. I mean, Louisville won every quarter except for the first. So something tells me that, I don't know if they just didn't shoot well and Louisville shot well enough to win. I don't know.
Who was the high scorer for Louisville that night? Was any?
I don't have any stats from them. Okay. So they didn't put anything on Max Preps for it.
Okay.
But Camel's leading scorer was Kevin Moore with 15 and Xavier Leonard with 10. So under their averages. But
so you look at Mick Hergenrother from Cardinal Mooney. That's the guy that everybody's got their finger pointing at. He has to have a big game. But you got Rocco Turner, who's averaged almost 15 points. Mm-hmm. In his last 9 or 10 games. He's another contributor. So I like this game because it's really 1 and 2 versus 1 and 2. But I like that it comes down to defense. This time of year will always, to me, come down to defense, and especially Mooney, the way they play it. And people are going to sit there and say that I'm on the Mooney train and trying to lock out Camel. That's not true. I think Mooney plays their game, and if they can agitate Camel enough, they walk away with the win. Nobody walks away with this 20 plus. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people that think that Camel's going to blow the doors off of Mooney. I don't see that happening. Could it? I'm sure.
See, yeah, I see it. I could see it happening because I could see Camel speeding up Mooney to a point where they're not comfortable playing that fast.
That's how they play defense, though.
Yeah, but like the speed, fast breaks, leak outs, all that stuff. And I mean, if Camel can get a couple dunks, I mean, that can change an entire atmosphere real quick.
I don't think Mooney cowers to the dunk, though.
I mean, I don't know.
If and I will say this with all due respect to the teams around here locally, the EOAC, when you see somebody put one down in Palestine or in Lisbon, it changes the game because there is it is a factor. I don't think if someone dunks in this game, one side or the other, that anybody's really super impressed because they've seen it done so many times.
Yeah. I mean, in the Springfield game when Rothwell had a dunk, it sparked a little bit of a run for Springfield there. And that's kind of what gave them a little bit of a lead. Now, granted, Mooney just stayed the course and did what they had to do. But it was like it swung a little momentum. I mean, I don't know. Situationally, it could completely change. I mean, Camel can get one big one, and it can spark a rally that, it could be 15, 20 points like that. You never know. But
in seeing what Mooney shut down Liberty, does that give you cause for concern if you're Camel, or do you watch that tape with intent and you say, okay, this is what they couldn't do, and this is what we are going to do. We are going to flex.
That's tough for me because I watched that game and Mooney came out on a 19-2 run.
Right.
Like if that's going to happen against Camel, it very well could be the same situation. But I mean, in my mind, I will live with having them have to go on a 19-2 run to beat me.
Nick says it made a difference in the Camel's last win. It came out of the locker room on a huge run against Jefferson. Listen, if a team goes on a huge run, naturally they're going to have the champion's advantage, right? If you go on a 19-2 run against one side or the other, you're playing with house money the rest of the way. Otherwise, you have a little doo-doo down your leg.
Right.
You know what I mean? If Mooney would have lost that game to Liberty and had a 19-2 lead, we'd be talking about, oh my goodness, Liberty never gives up, which they didn't. But naturally, you talk about, oh my gosh, look what they did. We're not talking about that defense that Mooney is just absolutely prolific. They're known for this defense. And again, a new venue, you're not comfortable with it. If this was at Camel, I'm saying, okay, I can get behind what you're saying. This is in Canton. McKinley's you've been there. McKinley's bigger. I mean, it's not the Civic Center, so it's not similar to Cleveland that way. Like there still is a wall, there's backdrops and stuff. But I mean,
I will say that Mooney needs to travel. They need to bring everybody because Camel's going to.
Camel's going to travel.
Camel's going to bring everybody.
Absolutely.
So Mooney needs to do their part, bring everybody as well.
Soup City.
Baby. Try to balance that out. I mean, they put the student sections there. I believe they're right behind the bench, or not the bench, but behind the hoops at McKinley, I think. At least that's how it was way back when. But I mean, everybody needs to come out.
I don't explain this to me. Like Amo, and I'm not trying to pick on Amo here. Camel wants a fast-paced Mooney. All right, he's trying to break it up. Camel wants fast-paced.
Yes.
Mooney wants a slower game.
Yes.
But aggressive defense.
Mm-hmm.
Mooney doesn't play slow.
They don't play that fast, though.
Their defense is sharks everywhere in the water.
Yeah.
And they're playing fast
but
defense.
The big thing is that like Camel will be able to expose that speed with one cut. Like if you're going to be flying at me, and I cut back inside, well, you're already out of the play. You're going that way.
Gotcha.
So you're out of the play.
Okay.
And now Camel creates that fast break. Springfield didn't do that. They weren't able to do that. Just different styles of play. Camel's more of a fast break, run out team.
So just from a observer standpoint, naturally the pace will slow with the game, correct?
Most of the time.
So doesn't that advantage Mooney if we're talking about if the game slows down?
I mean, it comes to matchups. Camel doesn't slow down, though. I mean, just like the comment from earlier, second half, Camel went on a big run. Camel can do that. Camel can keep the pace.
The whole game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's why Hergenrother needs to control it, in my mind.
I mean, I cannot wait to watch this game. And we've got two good ones that are announced in this one. Ty and Alec are going to be on the call. Listen, if you're watching on YSN, you're doing the $9.99 power play, power pass, you might want to turn it down just a little bit. You might want to just control that volume and keep a finger on it the entire time on that slider, because two guys that like to get loud and like to get intense. I'm sure Ty's probably already warming up the vocal cords for tonight. And he's probably got several things written down about Devils and Cardinals and all kinds of stuff, the puns that he likes to use during the game. So just know that you're getting two great announcers tonight, but you might want to just earmuff it a little bit, as you go along, because those two can get excited. I think this is the first time they've worked together?
This year. I know this year, yeah.
Since they did baseball together.
I think so, yeah.
Year. They're great together. One complements the other, but they are loud. They are super, super loud. So be ready for that if you are tuning into the game tonight. Of course, $9.99 gets you tonight's game, and then we'll have two games for you tomorrow. Quinn and I will preview those tomorrow. Louisville, as they take on, East, right? I'm sorry.
Louisville will play. I just pulled it up, too. Wrong tab.
Cheney plays St. V's. We know that.
Cheney, St. V's. Louisville plays Cleveland, Glenville.
Glenville. My apologies. So you have that 99 gets you both of those games. Unfortunately, only one game tonight. So if you're watching, we appreciate it, certainly. And of course, $9.99 gets you that game tonight, which I think it's probably more if you go to it. But if you're not going to go anyway, make sure you're watching the guys that have been with these programs all year long, not just when it's convenient for them. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to have Sarah Hamilton from Salem joining us. And as always, I can't wait to talk to her. Season concluding last week for the Salem Lady Quakers. Not the way they wanted to go out, but certainly a successful season for them. Can't wait to talk to her about how she's reflecting on the season now. And of course, one of the things I'm going to talk to her about is we heard earlier this season that there's, it's always really nice to see female leaders leading female programs. I can't wait to talk to her about the difference, because I saw the difference, with all the great things, and all due respect to all the great male coaches out there. There is a difference when it comes to seeing someone that you look up to and can call a role model that is just like you and can be you in a few years. So can't wait to talk. I know those girls look to Sarah like she's a role model. And she's done a great job with that program and continues to bring in the right pieces to fill in. Do you have any guesses for tonight? Any projections?
Camel.
I'm
going Camel.
Okay. You're going Camel. Amo says, I think Mooney has a real good shot at winning. So many people counting them out, which I will not. Respect on that. James Bartell says, hasn't Camel come back in second half a few times this year? It seems like seems to make a good halftime adjustments. I think it's fair. I mean, they're on a 20-game winning streak, right? Like, Coach Canarino.
I just don't think Cardinal Mooney can score enough. I really don't. That's the
What's
only
the
thing.
number they need to score to win?
60, right about 60.
And they are averaging what? 49?
50.
Yeah, 50. 50.6. So you look at that. An extra 10 points. Where do you find those throughout the game? I mean, you're a coach.
3-point line. 3-point line and free throws.
Free throws.
Gotta make your free throws.
To me, it's always free throws.
I mean, if Mooney will make their free throws and make all their layups.
So you got to get to the free throw line
Camel
somewhere between
jump.
5 to 7 times.
I would say be patient, head fake, get Camel to jump. You know they want to block shots. Get them to block.
Oh, yeah. They
Get
want
him
the
to jump.
highlight.
Yeah. Get them to jump, go through them, get a foul, and then you got to make a free throw.
Okay. Let's play if. Camel wins if.
They play Camel basketball.
Mooney wins if.
They stop Camel from playing Camel basketball.
So it's more on Mooney than it is Camel.
Yeah.
So if
But that's,
Mooney,
I mean, that's what it is when you're an underdog, I guess. I mean,
how are they underdogs?
just because they're not on a 20-game win streak, I guess.
You don't think that experience goes anywhere close to this game?
I mean, it does.
Okay.
It plays a role in it, but
Yeah.
it's not enough to score 22 more points than you're normally doing to average out what Camel averages.
But we saw Mooney get hot in that Liberty game. We saw them shoot the lights out.
But I also saw them get hot against Springfield and only put up 31 or 38 points.
Sure.
So
I respect it. Yeah, in case you were wondering, these two teams met in 2020. Again, Mooney won 66-30.
totally different team from Camel, though.
Oh, 100%. Mooney is.
I think Mooney had a different team, too. Had a guy named Pelini on the team.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was pretty
Kind
good.
of.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go here. Take your time in the paint on putbacks if you're Mooney. Don't panic. Got to make the bunnies. And here's the other thing. When you look at this, as Nick Rome chimes in too, he says Mooney's D is legit, but Camel is crazy athletic and can score all over. Nick Colbert says Camel by 15. James Bartell says height and rebound is a factor. But if you limit to one shot, I think that's the key for me for Mooney. If you limit Camel to one shot, I think you are slaying the beast slowly but surely. That's death by 1,000 cuts, right? You're not going to – if you're Mooney, you're not going to win this game by 30 points.
Right.
Like, it's not going to be a runaway. I think this is a close game regardless. Do I think Camel wins? They have the odds in their favor, right? But I think there's something about this Mooney story, and there's something about people continuing to count them out that I like. I like that they have bulletin board material, and it's not Camel that's feeding it to them. It's the media. It's it's different people. So I'm really it's
me.
It is you.
Me.
But the reality is,
I don't care.
I mean, everybody here. You look down. It's straight down the row. It's people are just putting Camel in the next round, and I think Carey's going to have something to say about that. I think the end of the day, he's going to have something to say.
I'm a big number person. Like, stats tell me a lot. They score too much. I think
in a tournament, I'm in agreement with you. But in a tournament setting, as we saw with the girls' side of it, you one and done, man. You got to show up every night. And I think there's just as much pressure on Camel with that carrying a 20-game winning streak as there is Mooney trying to be, the Brock Lesnar of the basketball tournament and being 20-1, because they've gone up against Liberty. They didn't have a chance against Liberty. They beat Liberty. They didn't have a chance against Springfield. They beat Springfield. Who else don't they have a chance against? I mean, that's just them. And I love the way they show up. I love the way they play basketball. I love the pace that they play. I love the way they play defense. And if anybody knows about defense, it's this next guest that we're going to have on our show coming up after the break. I see her in the back in the green room. So when we come back, Sarah Hamilton joins us to talk a little bit about defense and how it can change the perception of a tournament game. All that and more right here on the Ysn Power Hour right after this break from our sponsors.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. I want to thank Quinn Pushkar for joining us the first half of the show, talking about that Campbell Memorial and Mooney matchup that's going to be right with us here at Ysn, 6 o'clock tonight for $9.99. You can get that game, and there's going to be a lot of defense in that one, as we just talked about. But someone knows a thing or two about defense is someone we're bringing on the show right now, live. One of my favorites, it is Sarah Hamilton, the head coach of the Salem Lady Quakers. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing good now that things are starting to slow down a little bit, being able to reflect on our season. So I'm doing good.
I was just going to, as a perfect segue, and the first question is, when you reflect on a season, obviously you haven't had a full chance to step back and look at everything from an airplane view. But when you look at it, 20-5 overall, and you're the last team playing from the YSN family, you're obviously a very positive person, but when you look at this season and reflect, what are the things that you look at immediately?
You know, there's just a lot of pride in what we did this season with our defense, with how far we made it. Yeah, there's disappointment with the loss, but you know, the best part about the ride is the journey. And it truly was a journey filled with many memories, a lot of things that we did that were really turning the corner for our girls basketball program. And I just am so immensely proud of the girls and all they did this season to achieve those sorts of things.
And it was fun for us because when you look at it, you were part of that 2004 program that I think that was the benchmark, and everybody looked to and pointed to as, okay, this is what they did in 2004. This is what they're doing here in 2022. You were a big-time member of that program. So was Renee. So was Coach Spack. You brought in faces from yesteryear just for this reason this year. And obviously, the job's not done for you. But it was a nice step in the right direction of getting, like you said, this program back to where it needs to be.
Yeah, and I think that takes time, and you have to trust the process. Last year, we took over. We were about a 500 team, and we made it to the district championship game, lost on a buzzer beater, 4.4 seconds, and we were league champions. And so this year, we cranked it into gear a little bit more. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to be able to achieve these milestones. So I know we're definitely headed on the right direction, and this is definitely a great year that we can continue to build on.
And I had the extreme fortune of kind of getting to see the back, behind the scenes look at how you coach. I was so impressed for so many different reasons. But one of the reasons is you are big into connecting with your players. There's a difference between a boss and a leader. There's a difference between someone who coaches with you and is in the foxhole with you, and someone that is just coaching you and telling you what to do. You are in the foxhole with these girls, giving them your life experiences. You're having these team dinner nights every single week. You are huge into building a family. Why is it so important to you to build that basketball family?
Because it's all about building trust. And once you build that trust and build that relationship and start trusting one another off the court, that carries on the court. And you could see this year that these girls, they didn't care who was getting the credit that game. They didn't care, who was stepping up and who the spotlight was, because they all had Salem on the front of their jerseys. And that's what was the most important to them. And it starts by building those relationships. And, girls need to feel good to play good. And once they can trust that environment, and those that they're surrounded by, I think you saw what that can breed.
I think one of the coolest things is the fact that it doesn't matter what year they are. It doesn't, you want the seniors to lead by example, but you have players all over your roster from different classes that lead in different ways. In the era that we're in, and you know this better than any, the era we are in of a superstar and everybody branding themselves, how do you continue to keep them focused on a team mentality?
We talk each and every day at practice about what it means to be a leader, what it looks like. And sometimes that's vocally, really encouraging and bringing out the best in others. And sometimes it's a leader by example, by constantly pushing yourself, never taking a rep off, and just knowing that each and every leader that we have is valued and appreciated, because all the girls have the potential to really turn it on and make our team better just by what they offer. And so I think that our girls are able to kind of find out who they are as players, as leaders, and use that to benefit our basketball program.
And naturally, there's a lot of seniors that you're going to lose this year and that you're going to miss. But as we talked about, you may not have got the ultimate goal of raising that trophy at the end of the year, but you have created memories for this class that these young ladies will have for the rest of their lives. And nobody knows it better than you. So what did you say in the locker room when the final buzzer sounded, or on the bus, whenever it was that you finally got to have that conversation with those seniors? What was the message?
Just the fact that they have no idea how much that moment and how much that community support will become one of their best memories, and will help shape them into who they are. And, they're one of 8 teams in Division II in the state of Ohio to make it that far, which is beyond impressive. And it's just about building who they are as people and as their character. Last year we were in the locker room extremely upset after losing on a buzzer beater. And we learned that through those tough times, we're able to really push through, find out about ourselves. And, we grinded and we really we had some unfinished business to tend to, and we took care of it, and we set our goals high, and, we fell a little short, but, the seniors were very much speaking in terms of, we're going to be in the stands next year, cheering you guys on, and hope that you guys get that next game, and we'll see you in Dayton. Speaking of people in the stands, I don't know, because I know you were locked in. Did you take a moment at all last week when we were in Barberton and look at all the Salem community in those bleachers? It was amazing. I probably got, coming out to warm-ups, first 20 minutes, I was able to kind of glance around, and then I get locked in. I'm one of those coaches that, the student section will be cheering. I have no idea what was said until after the game, or, situations that happen, because I just get locked in, I get focused. But from what I heard, it was just really special. And I think that's a huge part of what we were bringing basketball back to, is that community support, that family. The girls were out in town, and they just had so many people just come up to them saying, best of luck, we're so proud of you. And what was crazy for me is learning all of those former players and former teammates that I had on my team that were in the stands that day supporting. And that just goes to show you that Salem basketball is just more than a sport. And it's something that, is who you are. And so they were in the stands supporting the next generation.
I loved seeing after that win in Barberton, all the different players that represented, and some of them you had no idea were in the stands until after the game, and hugs all the way around for you. I mean, to the point where we couldn't even get close to you because there were so many people. There was a line of people, and obviously Doug was one of them. He's like, I got to break this up. I got to go. What is that like when you see that? Because I mean, it's not that Salem basketball went away, but it's back in the way of there's a leader that is Salem grounded and rooted, has been in the program, entrenched in the program, and trying to bring back something special. It's always a little bit sweeter when there's someone like a Sarah Hamilton, who is a graduate of Salem, leading the program and trying to get it back to its roots. That was one of your themes last year. This year it's Let's Fly. When you think about that, when there are those ladies from 18 years ago coming back and supporting, and the video that we saw Meeks put out that was phenomenal, that has to mean something extra to you.
It does. And it just goes to show you how this is a continuation, that when you graduate, once a Quaker, always a Quaker. And that just, you look up into the stands and you see all these former players, whether it is basketball, and I had a ton of my volleyball players there from years ago. And we played in two regional games at Barberton when I coached them a couple years ago. And, just bringing back the memories that, are really special and formulate who we are. And I just think that I was just so happy to see everyone come back and support. And it really means a lot to the girls. It truly does. And it means a lot to this program.
What were some of the words of wisdom you received throughout the playoffs, and maybe one that really stuck with you?
Some of it was, enjoy this moment, enjoy the memories and stuff like that. And then Amy Scullion sent a video that just cracked me up because it was just so Amy Scullion. And she's like, yeah, people are going to tell you guys, enjoy the moment, enjoy the memory. And that's all good and stuff. But basically screw that, go out there and win. That's what's really fun.
I love that. Did Doug pass along any tidbits of information? I mean, head ball coach got to have something.
Yeah,
for him, right?
he does such a great job of just help guiding me, and he's always someone I lean on, and he just has such great advice, and he is someone that just enjoy this. You guys have worked so hard. Don't lose sight of the fact that you are one of just so many, not very many teams in this moment. Enjoy it. And then Amy Scullion on the other end just saying, screw that, go win. So, you get like a plethora of advice, and it all is very good and meaningful.
All right. 18 years ago, you were trying to get things kind of sorted out for yourself with what you want to do when you grow up. Did you ever see yourself in the position you're in right now as the head basketball coach at Salem and being in the regionals and one step away from Dayton?
I always loved working with kids, and I think maybe my coaches back then would be shocked because I just had this bit of an attitude, a bit of an edge to me. And yeah. You look back as a coach and you think, man, I would hate to coach who I was back then as an athlete. So many stories that my coaches imparted on me. But I came from a line of my grandfather. He was the principal at Salem and was also a coach. He coached with Earl Bruce, basketball, football. And he did all these things, and I always looked up to him. And so following in his footsteps, and, Coach Roger Ziegler and Steve Stewart just were second fathers to me. So it's not something I had in mind ever. But it's so funny how the stars align. Because Coach Dreger, actually, when she got the coaching position at Salem, is the one that really got me started to think about, well, maybe this is really what I want to do. And so I got the itch by coaching in her program in 7th grade, and I worked my way up from basketball and volleyball. And, here we are. And Coach Dreger and I always said we wanted to do this together when the time was right. And, the time is right, and we're just having a blast.
All right. So that leads me to another question. After that, I believe it was the district championship. I was able to zoom in and I saw you and Renee in a hug, and I'm sure something was said. I know you said from the jump you wanted to do this together. She's a big part, and all your coaches, let's be honest, you have a remarkable staff and everybody has their role and they do it at a very high level. But there's a special relationship, almost a best friend relationship between you and Renee. To do that with your best friend, that's got to be something that is atop your bucket list of checking things off the box.
It was something we dreamed about when we talked about 10 years ago. We want to get here, and we're embracing, and we got this moment, and it was just such a moment that you really can't put words to. And I told her I could not have done this without her. We couldn't have done this without her. And we couldn't have done it without any of the coaches that we have on staff. They have just been such a godsend. And like you said, they each have their own role, and it's unique. Just like all of our players have their own role on the team, all of the coaches have their own role and have things that they're very good at. And so for us to be able to come together, put our players first, lose our egos, and just say, what do we need to do that's going to be in the best interest of our players? It was just such a special year in terms of players, but in staff too. I mean, we just have such a killer staff, and I know we might be young and we probably have the most females in the area, but there's something special about that. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this.
Okay. So I asked the question earlier about, did you see yourself being a coach 18 years later? It's really 17 because you were coach obviously last year. Who is best suited to be in your shoes 17 years from now from this senior class, or maybe even from this team this year?
Well, from the senior class, it's definitely Jenna McClish. And her and I have talked in length about this. I remember when she was in second, third, fourth grade and coming to the camps, and she would always give straight eye contact. And whenever I spoke or the coaches spoke, she was just so engaged and she really wanted to soak up everything. And then having her transition into a captain this year, and how she leads vocally, she leads by example, and she makes everyone better around her through her charismatic nature, and she's going into education and she's going to coach, and she just wants to be a leader. And she was put on this planet, in my belief, to be able to do these things. And it's really special to have someone like her a part of this team.
So what's really cool to me is that you'll have one more opportunity to coach Jenna March 26th in the Ysn All-Star Game, to be able to have one more round. And there's no pressure at all on either one of you, and you're just able to enjoy it. What are you looking forward to most in that game, and specifics to Jenna?
Just having fun, breathing. When you are coaching, you get so caught up in the game that you forget, like, hey, we're having fun. And so that's what these all-star games are all about. Just go out there, have fun. It really doesn't matter at the end of the game what the score is, although I'm going to really try to rein my competitive self in because I'm too competitive. And so I need to bring myself back down to reality. But, we had our senior send off yesterday, and she said, girls, don't take for granted putting on that jersey, because I would give anything to put it on one last time. And, I told her, well, Jenna, you get to. So we're looking forward to it.
I'm excited for that. And it's funny because, we look to, people ask how we pick our coaches. We pick them from the relationships that we grow throughout the season, throughout the years at YSN. I was so excited yet nervous because I know how almost superstitious to a degree you are. We have to reveal these at the end of the year, but you're still going, right? You're still going in your playoffs. I'm like, we've got to release this. And Sarah, would you want to do it? And without hesitation, you said, absolutely. We can't thank you enough for that. And just letting us have some of that backstage in the locker room stuff. And obviously people enjoy it, Sarah, because at the end of the day, 6.4 thousand views of you saying humble and hungry and all the other stuff. you're an inspiration, and you're not only an inspiration for us here at YSN, but for girls and boys everywhere, because you bring a motivation. One of the things that I know you've already kind of touched on, girls in sports, and naturally it's a girls' revolution right now, but you're still seeing kind of a trickling effect of females taking over leadership roles in girls' sports. For you to have that and to have the admiration of so many, no matter the gender, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. Just because I feel like I'm such a strong woman, and I want to make these girls independent, strong women they are. And I just want to see more women in leadership roles, because I think it's important to give us a voice. I think we have something to say. I think, we have a lot to offer. And so for these girls to feel empowered and that they can take over such leadership roles, it's huge. I think it's something that can really shape who we are as a team, as a country, and moving forward.
All right, last question for you. I've kept you long enough, so I apologize. I know it's a marathon here. Being part of those bus rides, especially that last week, what are you going to miss most about this crew collectively? And obviously you lose the seniors, and others will, you'll have more seniors next year, and then incoming freshmen, of course. But this, to me, and you can tell me if I'm way off base here, this was a special group. And the fact that I feel like, and I've been told they've played all since they were kindergarten together. What are you going to miss about that? I mean, the bus rides are absolutely wild. I mean, Bailey got the beats. Bailey. What are you going to miss most?
These seniors bring on this level of comedic relief. We've got a lot of the younger classmen that are so hyper-focused that they almost forget sometimes that, we're here to have fun. And when we were doing our senior send-off, and I've done this for volleyball, basketball, and everyone's going around sharing their favorite moments, what the seniors have meant to them. And normally it's a really sad, solemn time filled with tears. And this one, it was filled with such laughter because of all of the joy and all of the laughs that these seniors brought to the table. I mean, it's just, they're such a wild, funny bunch. And I mean, you got to see firsthand how crazy in a fun way and fun-loving they are. And so we're definitely going to be a different team, missing that fun element next year. But they have done so much for this program and really turned the corner. And it would not have been the same without them. So I just am so thankful for all five of them.
And we are so thankful for you, for the opportunity to let YSN kind of do what we do and really go beyond anything we've ever done before, especially with girls sports. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks for all you've done for us all season. And of course, we'll see you on March 26th for the YSN All-Star Game.
Thanks, CJ. And thanks for everything you guys do for us. Appreciate it.
You got it. There she goes, Sarah Hamilton, the head basketball coach of the Salem girls basketball team. Such a joy to always have her. Motivation doesn't even begin to describe what she brings to the table, because she gets to whoever. I mean, she alluded to her competitive side, but until you have her mic'd up, you will never understand how incredibly competitive and loud she can be at the same time. I mean, I'm a huge fan. It's no surprise, and it's no shock that we've I was the voice of Salem this year. So there are some things that we were able to do because, hey, I'm there already. Let's try this. And every time I asked or had, let's be honest, had EB ask, it's, whatever you guys need. We want to make sure that this is fun for the girls and awesome for the program. And you want to talk about a leader that I could get behind any day of the week, and that's Sarah Hamilton. And she's got an unbelievable staff, and she's going to continue to add to that. And I think she hit the nail right on the head when she talked about Jenna McClish and the leadership capabilities that young lady possesses. I'm not even sure that she had a shot ball in the last game or two, She was out there on the floor diving for basketballs, doing whatever she needed to do to help her team out. That's who Sarah is. That's who Sarah was, and that's who Sarah always will be. So I'm always excited when she joins our show. She's incredibly busy. So, I was super stoked to have her on the show today, and I can't thank her enough. And congratulations once again to the Salem basketball team on a phenomenal season, and I'm sure the best is yet to come with them. That is going to bring us to the final segment of our show, which is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Here we go. It's the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our friends over in North Lima. Go to their HQ over in North Lima, or it's easier, which a lot of times it is, especially with gas prices the way they are. Head over to DickeyElectric.com and make sure that you are supporting the same people that have proudly powered the Valley for over 60 years, Joe Dickey Electric. Thanks to Eric Carlson and his whole team for all they do for us each and every day here at YSN. Couldn't be more thankful for great friends and great partners here on the network. All right, so $9.99 gets you the game tonight, right? That's not anything as far as surprising. We follow these teams all year, every game in, game out. We have had Cheney, we have had Kimmel, we have had Mooney, we have had Louisville, and guess what? They're still playing, and we still got them. So the funny thing to me is, and I mean, like, this is not funny. This is awesome. This is awesome. How many people I have received text message from, just general messages, Facebook messages, emails. I mean, the whole gauntlet of communication has been open, especially today. DJ, do you have the game tonight? DJ, do you have the game? Yes, we have the game. What I love about this, and I will say this, Donnie Riccatelli put a post on social media, and I talked about it yesterday on my Spark. It was overwhelmed me. I love when people ask us if we have the game, because it means that they're yearning for it. They want that game. They want our announcers. They want our viewpoints. They want to see their kids, and they want to see them put on a pedestal, because that's what we do. We don't, do we always have the best production? No. Do we always have the most statistics? No. But we're going to make it fun for your kids. We're going to make it fun for you. We try to bring a little entertainment, an extra kind of a little bit of a peppering of entertainment broadcast to you. And we try to make sure that if we're going to charge you because the state charges us, we try to make sure it's worth it for you, that $9.99. You get something that you didn't have when you pressed buy, when you pressed purchase. Ty and Alec are going to bring a lot of energy to tonight's game. I'm excited to listen to the broadcast. I hope you are too. I know there's a lot of people from Camel that are absolutely chomping at the bit to listen to this one, to watch this one. Mooney people as well. There's going to be a lot of eyes on and we are well aware that there is competition from our side in our channel of what we do. We're well aware, but we will never back down. And I will always put my guys in positions of success. And I think if you're looking for a great broadcast tonight, I would put our guys against anybody. And I mean that with every bit of my being. I think that you are in for quite the broadcast. We put two of our top tier talents on this game tonight, and it's going to be live from Canton. So enjoy it here for $9.99. We hope you had a good time. We'll have plenty more of the fallout of this game on ysnlive.com. And of course, we'll have all kinds of, I'm sure we'll have interviews tomorrow on Running Point, as well as here on YSN Power Hour. So on behalf of everybody here at YSN, want to thank Quinn, want to thank Sarah Hamilton for joining the show today. We'll have special guests tomorrow. We'll make the announcements here tonight. And I'll tell you what, it has been a good week so far, and the good times keep rolling, because Thursday and Friday are going to be a lot of fun. So keep it locked right here on ysnlive.com. We appreciate you spending your day with us anytime from noon to 4 here on YSN. And of course, don't forget, 6 o'clock tonight, we have that game. It's Mooney and it is Camel, and it is live on on ysnlive.com. We'll see you there. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your